All right, everyone, let's talk about a summer reading list. I'm going to talk to you today about many different books, and maybe you should check some of them out this summer because they're all fun and different in their own way. Also, you can get them from the public library. There's also a thing called Electronic Library of Minnesota, ELM. So if you search ELM on the internet, you can get books for free there. There may be some downloadable books, or maybe pop over to a store and pick one up to purchase. So, are you ready? Because here we are, Miss Thursby's summer reading recommendation list. The first book I'm going to talk to you about is Every Day by David Levithan. This book is awesome. So if you haven't read it, pick it up. It's a $6.50 Lexile, and it's about 300 so pages. But this book is so fun. I could not put it down. It's basically about a person who wakes up in a different body every day, and this person thinks that that's what everyone does. They all wake up in a different body, but as this person gets older, they realize that maybe this is not normal and that they're just using someone's body for a day. Sounds kind of funky, but it is awesome. So this person ends up growing roots and realizing that they want to be involved in some people's lives. But how do you do that when the next day you might wake up as a different 16-year-old across town or across the state? And so it's always the same age, never the same person twice. This person jumps from body to body with no control. It's really a gripping read. It's incredibly interesting. So give it a shot because I think you're going to love it. This book is called Delirium by Lauren Oliver. It's first book in a series, and it's really gripping. It is about a world where love is dangerous. And love is dangerous. I mean, I think that love is probably the most important emotion that we all have because it leads us many different places in our life. Well, in this society, they think that love is a disease. And when you turn 18, you get a surgery that kind of takes out that emotion and that feeling from us. And that's how they prevent wars, and that's how they keep people calm. And because love really does drive, passion and love drives what we do as human beings. So Lauren Oliver does an incredible job in this series using the traits of love and explaining and describing them to us in such a real way, but making them negative and making them a part of a disease. And it's not just about love, so I don't mean to make this a sappy love story because it's not. It's very action-packed. So within this society, there are teenagers who haven't gotten this procedure yet, and they feel these passionate emotions. So the goal is to get them to 18 before they make big mistakes. And then there's a community outside of this city that are trying to fight up against it. There's a rebel base. So it's a really exciting series. Give it a shot. Oh, hi there. Our next book is The Hunger Games by Suzanne Collins. Although this book is a little bit older and the movies are out and they're smash hits, right? This book is an awesome read. This one and for sure the second one. I wasn't a huge fan of the third one because it doesn't follow the same structure, but a lot of people like it. But the first two books are incredibly gripping, in my opinion. So The Hunger Games, if you don't already know, is about a world where the United States is Panem, is what it's called, and there are 12 different districts, and each year, a boy and a girl under the age of 18 gets selected to fight to the death. And it starts off from page 2 in excitement and just like, what is going on with this Katniss Everdeen and these other players in the games and the training that they have to go through. It's extremely exciting, and it's a little grim because there's death and killing, but it's also uplifting and powerful. So I think that you would like this book. If you haven't read it already, give it a shot because it's exciting. The next book is called Uglies by Scott Westerfeld. Especially when I was a little bit younger of a reader, I love Scott Westerfeld because the worlds that he creates feel so real, but they aren't. This book is, I'm just going to read the back to you for this one. Everybody gets to be supermodel gorgeous. What could be wrong with that? Tally is about to turn 16 and she can't wait. Not for her license, for turning pretty. In Tally's world, your 16th birthday brings an operation that turns you from a repellent ugly into a stunningly attractive pretty, and catapults you into a high-tech paradise where your only job is to have a really great time. In just a few weeks, Tally will be there. But Tally's new friend Shay isn't sure she wants to be pretty. She'd rather risk life on the outside. When Shay runs away, Tally learns about a whole new side of the pretty world, and it isn't very pretty. The authorities offer Tally the worst choice she can imagine: find her friend and turn her in, or never turn pretty at all. The choice Tally makes changes her world forever. High action, really amazing images created in your head, because in the pretty side, they get to enjoy life to the fullest. And they paint this picture of like all these rich people partying and doing crazy things, like jumping off buildings and then like stopping right at the last minute. And it's a really fun book. It's a lighthearted read, but it's also a survival story. So it's a good one. Boom, boom. This one is a thriller. It's called Gone by Michael Grant. And this book is fascinating. And there's also a show that's really similar to this. I think it's on Netflix. I'm not positive, but this is basically in the blink of an eye, everyone disappears. Gone, which is why you get the title. Everyone except for the young. That's what's strange about it. Teens, middle schoolers, toddlers, but not a single adult. All right? No teachers, no cops, no doctors, no parents. Gone too are the phones, internet, and television. There is no way to get help. And hunger threatens. Bullies rule. A sinister creature lurks around. Animals are changing, and the teens themselves are as well, developing new talents, unimaginable, dangerous, and deadly powers that grow stronger by the day. It's a terrifying new world. Sides are being chosen, and the war is imminent. Dun, 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 dun. It is a page-turning thriller and really an exciting read. I think that you would like it. And there is more books to the series, I believe. So give it a shot. Check it out. Okay, I don't know about you, but I'm reading this one this summer. I haven't read this one yet, but I plucked it off the shelf because it looks fascinating. It's called The Book Jumper by Mechild Glazer. Okay, The Book Jumper. And this book is about a person who can make the book that she is reading come to life. So the inside says, Amy Lennox doesn't know quite what to expect when she and her mother pick up and leave Germany for Scotland, heading to Lennox House, her mother's childhood home on the island of Stormsay. Amy's grandmother, Lady Myriad, insists that Amy must read while she resides at Lennox House, but not in the usual way. Amy learns that she is a book jumper, able to leap into a story and interact with the world inside. As thrilling as Amy's new power is, it also brings danger. Someone is stealing from the books she visits, and that person may be after her life. Teaming up with a fellow book jumper, Will, Amy vows to get to the bottom of the thefts at whatever cost. So it's a 770 Lexile, and it just looks like a lighthearted kind of fantasy, fun read for the summer. So Book Jumper by Mechild Glazer. Big book alert, big book alert. This series is brand spanking new, and it is highly recommended by the librarians. This is also another one I'm going to pick up this summer. It's called Illuminae, The Illuminae Files by Amy Kaufman and Jay Kristoff. And it is a very interesting and unique book because it's unlike any I have ever seen in print. Let me read the inside and then I'll explain to you why that is. This morning, Katie thought breaking up with Ezra was the hardest thing she'd have to do today. This afternoon, her planet was invaded. The year is 2575, and two rival megacorporations, blank and blank, are at war over a planet that's little more than an ice-covered speck at the edge of the universe. The reason I say blank and blank is because it's written with interesting, markings throughout the novel. So you really have to read between the lines and kind of be a little detective to see why they're blanked out. Okay, let's finish reading the inside jacket. Too bad nobody thought to warn the people living on it. With enemy fire raining down on them, exes Katie and Ezra, who are barely even talking to each other, are forced to fight their way into the evacuating fleet with an enemy warship in hot pursuit. But the warship is the least of their problems. A deadly blank has broken out and is mutating with terrifying results. The fleet's AI, or artificial intelligence, which should be protecting them, may actually be their enemy. And nobody in charge will say that the blank is going on. As Katie hacks into a tangled web of data to find the truth, it's clear only one person can help her bring it all to light. The ex-boyfriend she swore she'd never speak to again. And then there's this cool little place down here that says, briefing note, told through a fascinating dossier of hacked documents, including emails, schematics, military files, instant messages, medical reports, interviews, and more, Illuminae is the first book in a heart-stopping, high-octane trilogy, so there are 3, about lives interrupted, the price of truth, and the courage of everyday heroes. So this book is fascinating, and it has tons of different writing styles, and I think it looks incredible. There's some interesting pictures and things in it, and I cannot wait to get my hands on it for the summer and read it. So give it a shot. Illuminae. I've talked about Unwind before, but if you have not read this book, there are 4 books in the series, and it is so much fun. I absolutely loved this book. So Unwind is by Neil Shusterman, and it is about a society where between the ages of, I think, 13 and 18, if the parents or the guardians of a 13 to 18-year-old are not satisfied with them, they can send that child to be unwound, which means you're not really dying. You're going to be taken apart and giving all your organs and pieces of yourself to other people who need them. So it's kind of an interesting science fiction type book, but it's a thriller, and for some reason or somehow, Neil Shusterman makes this world feel real. So when you're reading this book, it doesn't feel so far-fetched. You know, when I explain it here, it's like, really? I mean, come on, how can they do this? But in the book, you go along with these 3 characters and you really believe it, and you're just like, wow, this is crazy. What would I do if I was in this situation? So it is thrilling, it's exciting, it is nonstop for sure. So give Unwind and the rest of the series a shot this summer. This book is awesome. Okay, I literally could not put it down. It's over 600 pages. I mean, I know that seems really daunting, but I'm telling you, it is worth every single word. Okay, it's by Stephanie Meyer, the same author as Twilight, and this book is called The Host. This would be one that I highly recommend for summer reading because it is so interesting. So basically what happens in this book is there is this group of souls that travel from planet to planet throughout the galaxy, and they basically ruin the planets. They move into whatever life force is on that planet, and they live out the body's life there, and then right before that body is done, their soul jumps ship out of that body and goes into another one. So they kind of just dispose of the people, for example, on Earth, and you wouldn't know that there's a takeover because they come into our body. At the base of our neck, they cut a little line, and then they insert the souls right into the humans, and then it still looks like me, but I'm just a host for this soul, so it wouldn't be me. It sounds kind of cheesy when I explain it like that, but it is one of my all-time favorite books because it's so fascinating and it's so real. I mean, it is a crazy book. It's only a 640 Lexile, which is nice because you don't really have to work hard at comprehending it. You just get to enjoy a great story. And that's why, I mean, my Lexile is much higher than that. And I loved reading this book, and I'm thinking I might give it another shot this summer just because it was so fun. There is a movie on this book, but the book is so much better because there's a communication happening between the human and then the soul that's taken over the human's body. Well, the human is trying to fight to stay conscious versus dwindling away. So you get a lot more of that conversation in this book versus the movie, because you can't really hear what's happening inside someone's head in a movie. So give this one a shot. It's big and it's awesome. You'll love it. For those of you a little more serious and not so like fantasy driven, this book I am actually reading this summer. This is the book I'm going to start my summer reading list with. It's called Born on a Blue Day, and it's by Daniel Tammet. This book is very intriguing to me because it's something that is out of all human control. So this is inside the extraordinary mind of an autistic savant, which is someone who is extraordinary, someone who is incredible in certain areas, but who is also autistic, and that can create some barriers. So the back says, Born on a Blue Day is a journey into one of the most fascinating minds alive today, guided by the owner himself. Daniel Tammet is virtually unique among people who have severe autistic disorders in that he is capable of living a fully independent life and able to explain what is happening inside his head. Many autistic people can't communicate that. He sees numbers as shapes, colors, and textures, and he can perform extraordinary calculations in his head. He can learn to speak new languages fluently, which means well, from scratch within a week. In 2004, he memorized and recited more than 22,000 digits of pi, setting a record. He has savant syndrome, an extremely rare condition that gives him the most unimaginable mental powers, much like those portrayed by Dustin Hoffman in the film Rain Man. Fascinating and inspiring, Born on a Blue Day explores what it's like to be special and gives us insight into what makes us all human, our minds. This book, to me, looks really interesting, and I hope to learn a little bit about autism and savants from it. The last book I have for you today is a goodie. It's an oldie, but it's a goodie. Give it a shot and try not to let what you already think you know about this series get you down. Okay, ready? Bam! Twilight by Stephenie Meyer. I'm telling you, the movies just destroyed this franchise, which is so unfortunate because, like Harry Potter, this could have been incredibly popular. And it still was really popular, but Kristen Stewart ruined it. So, this book, okay, it's about vampires, right? But there is so much angst and like passion involved in this book. Nothing smutty or inappropriate or anything like that, but it includes such an intriguing world that I would want to be in. I want to know that like Edward can read people's minds. He can hear your thoughts, and that is so like having a power like that is so intriguing to me because I'm like, would I even want the power? But basically, this series is so fun to read. So it's about vampires and a young lady who figures that out. And, you know, this takes place in Seattle, Washington. And she kind of gets into some trouble with them. And there's 4 books in this series. Obviously, there are movies as well. I think there are 4 movies. I don't know. But after you read the book, watching the movies are kind of fun to see your story come to life, but this book is really good. So give it a shot. Try not to let preconceived notions about, oh no, that book is old or it's bad. It's awesome read. She writes so well, which is why I also talked about The Host by Stephenie Meyer, because her writing is gorgeous. So give it a shot. That's all I have for you folks. I hope this wasn't too terribly boring, and I hope that maybe you'll get some titles that you're going to give a shot to, because all of these books look incredible, and I've read most of them. It's a blast to read books that you care about and that are on your own terms. Please do yourself a favor and do some reading this summer. There is nothing better than accomplishing something when you don't have to, when your teacher isn't saying you have to read this book, and it'll keep your mind sharp for whatever next school year brings. So give yourself a little bit of love and read a bit. When you finish a book, I'd love to hear about it, so reach out to me via the internet, because we live in a technological world. So let me know what you're reading and how it's been going. All right, have a great summer and get your read on.